to end.
ending with season 12, and they're
What season are we on?
I think 10.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so 2 more years.
And 3 movies.
Yeah, plus the movies, plus the third
series. And then whatever's happening over at Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, which is not about fear at all anymore.
No.
In fact, they've actually reversed identities.
Yes.
Where Walking Dead is all about fear,
Mm-hmm.
and Fear the Walking Dead is all about hope. It's all positive. Like every episode is like, hey, we're doing, we're
doing all right.
We're doing all right. We're so lucky.
It's just the farm season.
We're having a great time.
Minus the drama.
Yeah, this crack, sharpshooter, guy, who somehow, can split bullets, to hit 2 walkers at one time. But whatever. That's how we roll in the lucky Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yeah, well,
they have a charmed existence right now.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that latest season of Fear the Walking Dead, but it does feel like both of them can't be good at the same time. It's always
that's what it is.
It's like there's like a power struggle between the
You're
2, like quality.
Right.
They're like, what's gonna have the better arc? What's gonna just be total garbage? And then that third one's gonna come in and it's gonna be all over the place.
Yeah. Say who we are.
Yeah, I will go ahead and I'll do that real quick since we've already gotten started. But welcome back to the Comic Book Pit podcast. This is episode 334, and this is our media discussion episode. We do a back and forth. Our last episode where it's comic book reviews, and every other episode we talk. It's just general conversation. Could be movie, TV, pop culture, whatever. Sounds like we've started talking TV. But just a quick introductions. I'm Dan, and with me on the couch here in the amazing Sorgatron Media Studio, we've got Scott.
What? What's up?
Scott Jazz Hands Headland. And Link, don't call it a comeback. I don't know. That's all I got.
Hey, everybody.
And so we were talking about the Walking Dead-averse.
What's wrong with Walking Dead? No. Where did it all go wrong? No.
I don't really have a lot to say in this one. I've not watched.
Bailed,
yeah,
right?
I bailed hard.
When did you bail out? Negan, like the Negan era, or did you bail out with
the governor?
I bailed out the season before All Out War.
Okay.
I did watch. Okay. I watched the first 2 episodes of All Out of that season.
It's strange watching it because I don't have that emotional investment like I used to, and they really broke me with the when Glenn fell off the garbage can.
Oh.
And they pretended like he was eaten.
Yes.
And then they were like, "Oh, just kidding." I was like, "This is terrible." Like
yeah.
After that, they broke me, and now I watch it as
like
almost
you said,
like a weird spectator now.
I mean,
I'm not into this.
It's funny. Like you could. I mean, there was almost for a long time there was a parallel between The Walking Dead, the book, like the comic and the show.
Yeah.
And our podcast, because we were such great fans of, first it was the comic, and then it was the show, and we were so invested.
Yeah.
In both.
Yeah.
And then I pulled away from the book, but I was still very invested in the show, to the point where I would watch it Sunday night, and then I would watch it again on Monday.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the Negan era that really just kind of killed my interest.
That's another thing. I love that actor. I can't.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah,
I do.
He's awesome, but I still don't think he's a good Negan.
What?
Like, even all this time, he's
a fantastic Negan. I'll fight you.
See, I think he's a good Negan, but here's the problem. I don't like that character.
I just don't.
Fair.
I didn't like him in the book, and I didn't like him in the show.
I like him more in the show than in the book.
Yeah,
he's much more because he's Jeffrey Dean.
That
Morgan,
I can see.
Very charismatic.
That I'll agree with because the actor actually brings something to the character.
Yes.
So I would agree with that.
I just think visually Jeffrey Dean Morgan is not that imposing.
And I can agree with that too.
That's my issue.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my issue with it because the
the comic, he was
the comic,
a big
he's
dude.
a big dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like the Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're gonna fight him with one arm, you know, or whatever, one hand, like you're gonna be in, you know, that's an uphill battle. But I felt like Rick could take him any day.
Yeah.
You know, Jeffrey's you know, he's a lean machine.
There's a lot of stuff in the TV show that works better in the comic where you're like, oh, okay, I understand why you didn't do this, but like the TV show's just like, let's play out the drama, and you're like, just like shoot him. Like, to problem solve, just do it.
Yeah.
And they play with that a little bit, but they're like, no, we can't. We'll save our humanity, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Or, or he blocks it with the bat. I'm like, what is going on?
You know what's funny? I was just thinking, even going back to like season 3 with the governor.
Yeah.
And
the governor got way too drawn out. But anyways.
When Carol says to Andrea, like, sleep with him, give him the best night of his life, and then stab him in the neck.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this will all be over.
Right.
And I keep replaying that episode in my mind. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This would all be over.
Yeah.
Or at least like the whole governor thing. Like, yeah.
Maybe they would have taken that town instead, you know, and set up camp.
But that goes back to what you were saying, like so many things that, you know, things that you would think would be no-brainers, like just do this, and you'll be saved.
Yeah, like there's
but no, let's draw it out.
Yeah, you got to draw it out for a season or 2 seasons.
Or have these characters make even like more terrible decisions.
Because they were afraid of catching up to the comic, and then it happened. They're like, or it's close to happening. I don't know, really, but now they will pass it because the comic's
they're pretty
over.
much into knee deep in the Whisperers now.
Yeah.
So
that's about where I actually stopped reading the comic for a while. So
they still didn't do the best scene of the Whisperer story.
Okay.
Which I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like they're dragging the Whisperer story way out. I will say individually, and that's what we were talking about when we first got on here, is that Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead can never both have a good season at the same time. And Fear the Walking Dead this season just became the season of hope instead of fear. And
I've heard not just from you, but from other people that it's just like,
Yeah, it was
compared to like the last season that was like crazy good.
They cleaned house of the old guard, the actors that wanted off the show, and they're like, all right, fine, and they killed
a whole new cast in like one season.
In merciless ways. It wasn't. And now this season, everybody lived. Like the whole season, I'm like, what? Like, wow, they are lucky. Like they're able to do everything in this new world. But on the flip side, now the recent season of Walking Dead, I felt had been stronger on individual episodes.
Yes,
because they play up the element of fear, and
every episode's
survival.
Been interesting. Yeah.
The Whisperers play a different game. They play a mind game that they haven't encountered, and it's like, okay, I'm digging this. I also want them to get to it, though. Like
sure, yeah.
Like let's have something happen like big. But
I mean, I kind of have like near the end. There was a few big things that I was like, are you caught up to?
Yeah. All right. So that ending, though, that cliffhanger was terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, zombies are everywhere. What happens?
Yeah,
who knows?
They fall into a coal mine.
Yeah.
And they're surrounded by the walker herd. And they're like, oh no, what do we do? And it's like, well, first of all,
I've seen them get out of that situation like a million times
and
already.
I'm like, why did you follow her down a black tunnel, like a hole? You have no light. And it wasn't like one person did. It was like 6 people went in the whole gang. Oh, let's all go.
All the main characters are like, let's just chase her through the woods into a
Yeah, I was like,
into a trap.
This is awful.
That's what I'm saying. Bad decision. It's the season 2. Let's lower Glenn into the well all over again.
Yeah, and Carol, who's been just the breakout character of the whole show.
Yeah, made
the worst decisions in that episode.
Yeah, she has to fill the I'm the one causing the trouble role.
Right. Yeah, and they're just like, Carol, try to use reason. She's like, no. And then she just runs off into the woods.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, let's just follow Carol now. It's like, what are you doing? This is crazy. But, What do you? Well. So that's what it is a good season, but ended really weird. So now maybe Fear the Walking Dead is going to be a good season.
Yes.
Maybe it'll be the good show.
It's like the groundhog seeing a shadow.
Now that the whole coal mine thing, was that a mid-season finale?
Yeah, that was the cliffhanger.
Okay.
Which was on a cliff in a coal mine.
That's
sort of
literal cliff.
A literal
cliff. A literal cliffhanger.
I mean, I will say I prefer that cliffhanger to the shocking death cliffhangers that they tend to do, because it's always just like, when somebody's going to die on The Walking Dead. Yeah. And it's like either the season opener, the mid-season finale or opening, or the end. Like in between, nothing will ever happen.
Right.
But then they're like, ratings.
Yeah.
Who's going to die during the finale? Stakes are high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that. And that's kind of the thing with Glenn and Abraham and all that, when they dragged that out.
Yeah.
Between the seasons and then hyped it up and made it this huge thing that I was just like, I really just don't even care who dies.
I think
just do it.
The other thing too is at this point there's no reason for new viewers to join the show.
No,
there's no good jumping on
and
point.
Fear the Walking Dead they were like, oh, we just started over.
Yeah, and they actually did I thought a good job of it. But Walking Dead, they brought in that new cast.
Yeah.
The outsiders to Alexandria. But they don't use them in the way that they would replace the cast. They just it's all
there's not a lot of breakout people.
Yeah, and they made what's his name? The one dude looks like Rick. Like they basically the guy with his hand cut off. What's his name? Not Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah. He did kind of fill into
he looks
Rick
like Rick
role.
now.
Oh yeah, he's got a beard.
Yeah, he's got the beard, the short hair. Like basically the Kirkman's version of himself, and then the no arm.
Yeah, I know he's got the robot arm.
Literally,
he's got a hook
the
hand.
walking Rick. He's the walking Rick, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And Rick's out there somewhere in this world. He's still alive somewhere. Yeah. He's probably like, he's trying to take my look. I'm coming back. Maybe in movie 2 I'll meet him again. Whatever. But no, I don't know.
Now is Michonne supposed to
leave the show?
Yeah.
So what I read is that she.
Yes, because
she has a movie obligation. Yeah. So they're stretching her appearance off the show, so. That's how they wrote her out for the season. Was she meets up with this guy? He's like, "Hey, we've got a fortified island off the coast, and I'll take you there." And
that's
he's like,
right. Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, I'll go with you, and only I can go." Because why?
I forgot about that for a second. Okay.
And then they almost do like a Miami Vice kind of thing where they show her hopping in the boat, and the boat rides out, and it hits some waves, and boom, they're gone. And it's like, that was weird. It was almost like the start of another show,
Yeah.
No, who's
but then
watching?
It just went away.
Who's watching Judith? I mean, I know Judith isn't like a baby anymore.
Kicker.
Yeah, but but I mean, she's still like a child.
She's watching herself.
It's the musician teacher guys and the outsiders, I guess, right?
Yeah, you're a doppelganger. Dan, what's his name? Is that his real name? Dan?
I think Dan Waldgreen. No, I have no.
I don't know. Waldgreen.
I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Dan Walt.
I don't know if that was a comic character either, or if he was specific for the TV show.
The guy that was in.
I can't help you.
He's well known. He's a well-known actor.
Not by me, but
the new.
I can look it up.
The new Harry Potter. What's the new Harry Potter movies?
Oh,
that guy. He's the baker.
Yeah. Okay.
That guy. He's the baker.
He is. He looks so different in Walking Dead.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. Anyway,
that's okay.
But yeah, no, him and the other outsiders, like I can't remember anybody's name, so I'm gonna be like the deaf girl and her sister.
They brought in,
and the lesbian,
They did a good job of trying to bring in
Octavia. Is that one of the characters' names?
No.
All right.
No.
The lesbian. I'm terrible.
Yeah, all
this
of
is
them.
this is how well developed these
like
characters
Well,
are.
I was going to
though,
say, like, I mean,
that I don't know anybody's name.
this is a huge departure from like the first few seasons when we knew everybody's name.
Right.
Like Cheers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Zombie Cheers.
I'm almost there.
But yeah, that I every so often like I'll see, video clips or stills from the show, and I'm like, I don't know anyone in this show anymore.
Yeah, there's it's so
not,
much supporting cast. Like, there's still supporting cast, but they're like, oh yeah, the Kingdom people, and there's once again like I don't remember anybody's name, but there's like the blonde chick who was like one of the royal guard, and then like the hand of the king dude.
Yeah, Jerry.
Yes.
Oh, Jerry's still around?
Yeah.
Jerry.
Okay,
Jerry was.
I keep wanting to call him Yo-Yo because that was his character's name in *Halt and Catch Fire*.
Oh.
I'm like, I know that's not his name. But yeah, those people are around. Some people from Oceanside maybe, but it's all just there's so many kingdoms and so many supporting cast members that like the main crew is still like Daryl
and Carol.
Yeah.
And then
the kids.
Michonne. And then Judith is sort of like in the main pack.
Yeah, Judith, and then I'm blanking on her name too, but the Whisperer's Alpha's daughter.
Oh yeah.
Is kind of it.
Yeah.
And then the king.
Yeah, and the king. Which
he's even in a supporting role now.
Yeah.
Well, I still see Father Gabriel.
Oh, and Gabriel, yes.
Once
Gabriel
in a while.
pops up every now and then. And then
Rosita
and that crew still shows up.
Like Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene. But it's like it's not every episode. It's like every episode's a different settlement's perspective.
Different group of people.
So it's hard to like.
So it's like the show's almost gotten too big.
It is. It is too big. They should have spun off a show from that show. As opposed to doing like the third thing, which is like the young adult zombie flick. It feels like it's like teenagers in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
it looked like the trailer looked interesting, and I was like, I'll watch this and see where it goes because it's gonna be different.
I'm all in. Come on. Like even though I'm gonna complain about it, I'm still gonna watch the whole thing until the bitter end, just like I did the comic.
Yes, yeah.
Because I don't know why I'm like fascinated by it too. Even though.
Well, I mean, there's stellar episodes sometimes. Yeah. Like it really is. It's like there's highs and lows, and the highs are really good.
They do character pieces. I think is why I enjoy it. Even if like the setup is kind of hokey. Yeah. Then they'll do some really good character stuff, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that was. Really that was really good television. Yeah, human interaction kind of stuff. Dan Fogler finally found it. Dan Fogler from Balls of Fury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He is watching Judith, of all people. But, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, that's probably it. That's probably the end of the rant on...
I don't know what else there would be to talk about. But yeah, it's...
Now, when are the movies supposed to come out?
I haven't heard anything about it.
I thought they were going to come out soon, and then we haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
I thought it was literally going to be like, oh, there's going to be a movie in like three months.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And then they were like,
no, it just went silent again.
Yeah, it's like at some point.
Yeah.
I assume in 2020 there'll be at least one of them.
I feel like Scott Gimple, who does a lot of he's trying to do the bigger picture stuff, but I also feel like he's that Homer stepping into the bush.
Oh yes, sure.
Meme. Like he was front and center so much, and now he's just like, oh, the show is losing interest for people.
Well,
it
is every year I see like the ratings have dropped terribly, and they're still like the highest rated show ever.
For AMC, they're still amazing.
But it's like, we dropped 4 million viewers, but we're still really good.
Yeah.
So here's a question: I'm so out of it. Does The Talking Dead even exist anymore?
It does.
So
what they did is I
don't see it advertised as much anymore.
It's on. They usually put it on after if they're trying to promote another show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on for The Walking Dead, but then Fear the Walking Dead, they only did it for the first and last episodes of that season. Okay. And they didn't cover the middle at all. And even like the guests that they have on sometimes, I'm like I just kind of fast forward through a lot of it, and just if there's something
I've never bothered watching.
It.
I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that was even before the Chris Hardwick's, before that controversy, whatever happened. I feel like even way before that, I feel like the show had already lost steam.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first couple of seasons, like that was a fun show to watch.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was like you watch The Walking Dead and you immediately watch Talking Dead.
The Marilyn Manson was one of the best ones, I think, because he was so
out of it.
He was so not with the rest of the program.
Yeah. But yeah, I just didn't know if that they even bothered still producing that one. But but they do.
Yeah.
And he's still hosting it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, that was much
settled.
ado about nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything got settled, outside of the public eye.
I know that Yvette Nicole Brown took over for
one episode.
Yeah, for one episode.
And for his Comic-Con appearance.
Okay.
Like that, he was supposed to do a bunch of panels there, and because of that controversy, he stepped out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She stepped in, and then she did the first episode of that season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back on, and I mean, he was like crying, like he's like, that he was allowed back, because he was just like, the whole controversy, I just can't picture him being that way. So I don't know, but that's my opinion.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, I don't even
that's a different show.
Yeah, it is a different show.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to talk about in the Walking Dead world?
Just that it'll never end.
Just that you guys will never stop watching it.
Yeah,
never
we're
ends.
in for it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But we can talk about quality television.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you
like
go.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, The Mandalorian. We got the first 4 episodes under our belts.
Whew. That's a show.
Pretty good stuff.
Yep.
I mean, just it's really firing on all cylinders. I mean, I feel like even like probably the least exciting episode, probably like episode 2 was kind of a dip, but that was still still fun to watch. Like watching him basically take on a bunch of Jawas.
That basically was the fight episode. Like he fought the 2 boss guys.
Mm-hmm.
Then he fought the Jawas. Then he fought the Beast.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yep.
Like he got rattled.
Yeah.
In that episode.
Well, that's the thing. Like even in I actually watched the most recent episode today again but he actually. I mean, he kind of gets his butt kicked in the second, in the 4th episode too. He gets his butt kicked by
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune.
Oh yeah,
who she was awesome.
Yep.
I want to see more of her.
Yeah,
she was a great character.
Yeah, I hope that they do more. Like just from the still shots, it seemed like there might be some crossover at some point.
I did check IMDb, and this was early on during. It's so interesting to see the drama, the internet drama surrounding The Mandalorian, because when the first episode came out, there was a lot of outcry from feminists being like, there's not enough women on the show.
Right.
This is all dudes. There's no women speaking roles besides the armorer. Who's super cool and super important.
Yeah.
But there was nothing. And so there's all this outcry. And I was like, well, I'm curious when Cara Dune's going to get here, when Ming-Na Wen is going to be on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I know she's in it.
Right.
And I checked IMDb, and Cara Dune does have 2 or 3 episode appearances throughout the season.
Nice.
So she will be back.
Okay.
Maybe immediately after this episode, maybe not. But yeah, and then this episode, the outcry from the other side came, that was very angry about the woman who could shoot. The widow.
There was an outcry about
the villager.
Yeah, there was.
Wait,
our boy Ethan Van Siever, of course.
Oh jeez.
But also other people who were like, oh my god, why she? Of course she's so good because it's woke, blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's chill. It's so
you can't have one person be good at shooting a gun
without like an elaborate backstory or anything. Yeah, it was super weird.
Yeah, you don't know where she's
from.
No,
I like the fact that we don't know why she's such a good shot. Maybe
that kind of stuff harkens back to the Old West shows.
Exactly. It's a trope. It's
like you don't know how she ended up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's even episodes of Battlestar Galactica that reminds me of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like there was an episode, that episode, this one in particular, also directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm. They've gotten really good directors for all these episodes.
Yeah, but Battlestar did an episode where there was a Cylon that was harassing a western town, and Starbuck had to have a shootout with it.
Okay, yeah.
Like, who's the fastest draw? Starbuck or this character they called Red Eye, who would come into town and cause trouble. And, like, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
But he befriended, like, the local people, and I was like, what? Yeah. Like, what are people complaining about at that point?
Star Wars is just caught in the culture war.
Yeah.
It's like, our side needs to claim the Mandalorian as ours, and I'm like, it's
for everyone.
Yeah, it's for everybody. It's gonna have highs and lows, and different episodes will focus on different whatever. Like, that's just how it's gonna roll, and it's gonna be slow.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the importance of characters, like women characters, like the Armorer, is all within not what they're saying or doing, but like the context of how characters react to her. She's like the big dog. Like, she's super important. She has the respect of all of all the male Mandalorians, and like she's a big deal. I don't know what her deal is, but you can tell she's important right from the get-go.
I know who the actress is from. She's in Supernatural.
Oh, okay.
She plays God's sister.
Okay.
In Supernatural. So she's a pretty imposing force in that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they picked someone really good, to play that part. So, because at first I thought it was going to be, maybe it's Phasma, or something like that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it kind of sounds like her a little bit.
It did.
Like, under the helmet. Yeah.
They're all using the same voice modifier.
Yeah. And I was like, I need to look this up, because then I was, something I read about Phasma is that her armor is from the ship that was Padme's ship.
Interesting.
The silver ship.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her metal is from that ship.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Like, literally, like, it's not another metal like it. It's literally from
the ship.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why did they make her so easy to beat in the movies? Like, that's such a bummer.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you have Gwendolyn Christie?
I know.
Who swings swords around, and then you don't have her do that?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, she does absolutely nothing cool.
Yeah. But no, I think it's just been a fantastic show through and through.
What's cool about it is the layers that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The show itself, just by itself, is a great show. Just it's very old Western feel.
Yeah.
He's haunted by his past. He's trying to live a certain way. It's almost like a kung fu kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a samurai Western.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He has that that code.
I have spoken.
Yeah.
Like, two great, very simple sayings, but like
that's another bonus nugget. Mm-hmm. Nick Nolte voiced him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Nick Nolte actually was up for the role of Han Solo before Harrison Ford.
No.
He was on the consideration list, so I'm sure that they were like, we got to get Nick Nolte in this. Because everything in this show is like a high five back to something else. To like every bit of it is like referenced to something else. Even and this is my favorite scene, is from the second episode, was when all that climbing, Mando gets up there to face the Jawas, and they just shoot him.
Yeah.
All at once. That harkens back to, Han chasing the stormtroopers down the hallway, and then they're like, "Oh wait, we just turn around and shoot at him."
Right.
But they don't do it in a way that makes you go, "Oh, that's just a ripoff." Yeah. But it's like an homage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this show's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's at that level, and then like, never mind Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
You know,
that's a whole other.
And then there's, I'm sure you've read all this. Baby Yoda is 50 years old.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow the timeline, he was born the exact same year as Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, that stuff. Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah. That's when my head went. You know, like immediately after, like the next day, I'm like, what?
Yeah, my gut, like, I feel as if, like, Baby Yoda is super important, but I also feel as if, like, they're not going to make him that important. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I feel like he's.
Well,
I feel
like
like
he wouldn't impact the movies
Yeah.
in any way.
Right.
I feel like he's the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
That too.
Oh, he could be. Yeah.
You know, everybody wants it, but nobody knows why.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's an important
Right.
thing, but
Yeah.
it's not so important that it drives the show.
Well, I think
You know?
it's also part of the, if you answer it, it's
Yeah.
less appealing.
It loses its mysticism.
I just want to know what his race is called so we can stop calling him Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
What are they?
Or
they
if he
call
gets
him
a
the
name.
child.
Yeah.
That's what they call him right
Yeah.
now. Is the child.
the child.
Yeah, no, he's Baby Yoda. That's
Yeah,
like the
Baby
internet's-
Yoda. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Here's some
the
like
internet has
speculation.
spoken. Yeah.
The internet has spoken. That's so funny. That should be a shirt.
Yeah.
The internet has spoken. All right, so let's see, Baby Yoda. What was I going to say about him?
you had some speculation.
Speculations. Oh yes. Oh, the guy that wanted him to examine him.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody took a screen cap, found out that his patch on his shoulder
Jeez, here we
is
go.
the same
Going deep down.
the same symbol that the Jango Fett clones were wearing on Camino. So he's literally a Camino scientist or something. Or at least has some sort of connection back to Camino.
So there's cloning. There's a cloning aspect.
There could be a cloning aspect.
Did they want to clone Baby Yoda?
Here's another thing to think about.
Yeah.
because he's so damn cute.
Because
Everybody,
I'm just going to layer this
Yeah,
all
he's
in.
highly marketable.
everybody wants a Baby Yoda for Christmas.
And I'm going to be that guy from Ancient Aliens. You know,
Yeah.
it's like aliens.
Yeah.
But
Yodas.
because I'm just going to throw this in here just for speculation. But one thing that somebody pointed out, I don't know who, but they were like, in Phantom Menace, they mentioned the midichlorian.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, he has a higher midichlorian count
Yep.
than Yoda. So that means at some point they took a blood test of Yoda or something. They have a sample
Yeah.
of Yoda's DNA. So could he be a clone? I don't know. You know, we also know that Anakin was immaculate
Yeah, he's Jesus. Force
birth.
Jesus.
Yeah, Force Jesus. I don't know, you know, or was he, you know, Darth Plagueis had had some sort of workings on trying to find, you know, to live after death. You know, that whole, that was his thing. And that goes back to that same era. So then you're like kicking all that around. And then in Force Awakens, they mentioned the cloning project that failed. Like they just throw it in there. Like they're like, these soldiers, you know, I wish we could, they say something like, I wish we could have used clones, but that didn't work out. And they're like, well, we had to brainwash children that we can't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Finn's one of the brainwashed children.
Yep.
So I'm like, wait a minute, maybe this is the actual cloning thing
That they were trying to do, yeah.
mentioned. The First Order. So I was like, this is, and that's when my Star Wars brain goes supernova.
Yeah. No, for sure.
You know, instead of, you know, like, this is a good show, then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like, yeah, like the Vince McMahon meme, you
now-
know,
yeah.
he's blown back.
Or
and
you're,
he's-
you're like just
Yeah.
totally like beautiful minding it
Yeah.
on the window. You're like writing stuff with
the
a
guy-
grease pencil.
Yeah, the guy
Well,
with the. Yeah.
Well, in the 4th episode, they had like that Loth cat, right?
Yeah, that was
and I was like,
awesome.
is that something?
That was a great reference.
I'm just like, it's just a reference, but that was like a huge deal
Yeah.
with their connection to the Force and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, was that like the big like cat looking thing?
Yeah,
in
it's a
the-
thing
in
for-
the-
it-
in the-
They're from Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, are we just Easter egging or is this like
That-
something?
That could be. I didn't think about that because of the Force sensitivity.
Yeah, they
The
have,
creatures of Lothal, which is where the majority of Rebels takes place,
Mm-hmm.
is that they're Force sensitive.
yeah.
But the cats aren't as much as the wolves.
Yeah.
You know, the wolves are way
Yes.
woo. But
yeah, they're all like
both
just
cats.
connected in some way. Yeah,
you have to watch a show. I mean, to get,
it is really
clearly.
good.
But that's what I mean is they just layer it.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah.
I can't
There's
believe
a lot
how
of
much
stuff
they're
going on,
throwing in there. The characterization of the Jawas, I think, was the best thing they could have done.
They
for
were,
them.
yeah.
They were so much like a pack of rats.
Yep.
Perfectly. That they were like, we don't care that you vaporized like 3 or 4 of us because we don't even remember who they were. You know? They don't care.
Yeah.
And they're like, and we sold your ship, but we'll trade it back to you.
Yeah. Just
Like,
we
they
just
didn't
want to
care.
eat this egg.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just wanted to eat the egg. I was like, holy crap, these
Yeah,
Jawas are perfect.
They're it's all about business.
Yeah.
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 I was like, what?
And I liked how they
Just
how
buy
they
some candy.
they sat down with them, like literally sat on the
Yes.
ground with them to like
To work it
to
out.
work out a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's so wizard.
it is so wizard. Oh my god. Wow, taking it back.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. What's the
Yeah,
one
it's
thing?
a
Oh,
crazy good show.
I like the reference in the 4th episode with Cara Dune when she talks about like her history as a soldier, like what she's been up to, and she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, then we were on Endor cleaning up after
Oh, yeah.
that, like
Yeah.
after the basically Return of the Jedi, like yeah, there were still Imperials that we had to go after, and so that was kind of cool, like the idea that like they were almost like how like after World War II they were like hunting Nazis.
Yeah.
It's like there's a group of soldiers out there hunting like rogue Imperial officers that
Yeah,
are like
yeah.
in high, like war criminals probably,
Right.
like Imperial war criminals. Like I want to see it. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see like a bunch of like rebels, like a strike team going after like Imperial war criminals.
Yeah.
Well, I also like that Cara Dune's character. I forget like her class. Her like she's a heavy gunner, heavy
She was like I
Shock
think he called
trooper,
her a shock trooper.
something like that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, shock
And
trooper,
she,
yeah.
like the dudes with the giant miniguns, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Because I've never like you kind of knew that they existed, and they're like
Right.
sort of like expanded.
Right.
Like they didn't really exist in like the movies, so it
In
was
the
cool to
movies, they
see
all-
somebody.
Yeah.
She's like got huge guns. I'm like, dude, this chick's
I
like
think
just
that-
out there mowing people down with a minigun, probably.
Yeah.
Like just shooting up, space Nazis.
It seems like all this time, they've been developing the Empire and all the special special
every
troops
different,
for
every
everything.
different stormtrooper, yeah.
But they haven't done that with the Rebellion.
Yeah, I would say we've never seen that with the Rebellion, like outside of like the pilots and
So
you know,
to mention shock troopers as a
Yeah,
as a
it's-
separate group.
or
Yeah, it was
in
super
the
or
pilots.
the fact that like they were brought in like on a drop ship and like no support, and I'm like, this sounds very like
Yeah.
almost like Colonial Marines or something.
Yeah.
Like
you know,
G.I. Joe
just
special missions.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I also like the Mando's reference to the New Republic. It's a joke. Like he didn't say that's like that's all he said, because they're like, well, why don't you go to the New Republic? You know, or something. He's like, that's a joke.
Wait, when was that?
I think it was in the 3rd one. He was talking to
Oh,
Creed. I can't remember.
right. Okay. Creed.
Creed.
Apollo Creed.
Apollo Creed. He's talking to Apollo Creed.
Or Chubbs from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Or the acting coach from Arrested Development.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. It's just like got a stew going on.
Or Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So many references to Carl Weathers.
He's awesome.
He's an American treasure.
Yep.
But I think that he said, well, why don't you try the New Republic? And he was like, that's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love that that's all they needed to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have to go to Senate meetings and see how it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Like we already, just from that sentence, we know it's not really working as well as they had started out, which is why this gives bridge that gap to the
The
first.
Force Awakens, where it's still a hot mess. Yeah.
Yeah, the First Order is able to build this power, that's unchecked. And it's just because the New Republic didn't do what they were, they didn't finish the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what you learn.
Bunch of lousy
me.
Democrats. Space Democrats.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
well, and speaking of that third episode, I mean, how awesome was that last scene? Like,
it was awesome.
The showdown.
Oh
like
my God.
When
shootout.
when the Mando is like all pinned down. I mean, he's still like at every like couple minutes. I'm still thinking like, okay, he can still get out of this. But then he gets really pinned down. But even when he's really pinned down, I'm like, he can still get out of this.
Yeah.
I swear I did not see all the other Mandos showing up
and just tearing
shit just
up.
like
that was awesome.
And the heavy gunner that was giving him shit earlier.
Yeah, that dude, yeah.
He was just like, get out of here, take the kid, get out of here, and he's like, this is the way.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's all you have to say, like, this is the way.
I was like, that's the guy I want to dress up as.
Yeah, that heavy gunner.
Gunner.
There's gonna be so much cosplay coming out of this
Yeah.
show.
It would be nice to see
It's gonna be insane.
people that aren't Boba Fett.
Yeah, that aren't Boba Fett. That's
all
another,
these different Mandalorians.
This show's changing my perception of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
And that at first I was like,
that's a good point.
I was like, oh, okay, so he's basically the Mandalorian stole the whole carbon freezing.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, well that was Boba's thing. And then he also does disintegrations.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wait a minute, are they just taking away all the cool stuff from Boba Fett?
No disintegrations.
Yeah, but now the way that his armor's coming together, he looks more like Jango.
Yeah.
And Jango was part of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, the
system.
actual. Yeah.
Yeah, where Boba was raised by criminals.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have that code of honor.
Oh,
as
yeah,
far as I know.
No,
So
he never did.
He wears the armor, but he doesn't like. He may not.
He doesn't
like,
understand.
He doesn't have the credo.
He doesn't.
He's technically not a Mandalorian.
He doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
believe in the code.
Right. Yeah, he was raised by the other criminals. Like the other bounty hunters took him in because like we knew your dad.
Like that could have been like some dead Mando's armor that he just stole or something.
Right.
It may not even. Yeah.
He may have no connection to the Mandalorians that we know of.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because it's like, wow, Boba Fett really was like a criminal then.
Yeah.
More so than this whole,
Maybe he's maybe
samurai kind of thing.
he's not as cool as we all thought he
He's
was.
still super cool.
I never thought he was cool.
But I love that this guy uses that flamethrower a lot.
Oh yeah. That thing's awesome.
and his grappling hook.
Yeah.
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 That was a slick move.
Yeah.
In the third episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, when that happened, the whole big thing, like Kate leaned over and we're just like, "This is the coolest thing." Like she was super pumped, and I was like, "Yeah, this is awesome."
Yeah.
And I'm really excited that the director, I can't remember her name now, Deborah Cho. Let's just say it's Deborah Cho.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
She's
Deborah,
the director for Obi-Wan.
Oh nice.
Oh nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, cool.
I'm super pumped. Or maybe not director, showrunner. Maybe it's show.
Oh yeah.
Either way, she's heavily involved in
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, the TV series. So
Okay,
that
so
would be super cool.
so once again, go back to that third episode.
Yes.
When the Mando and Apollo Creed have the showdown in his ship, and the Mando shoots him, and he hits him right where he put that piece of metal.
Yeah.
Did he do that on purpose?
Oh.
Because he saw him put that in his jacket
I don't
earlier.
know.
And so maybe, I'm not saying like, oh, he's got a soft spot for the guy, but maybe he's like, I don't want to kill this guy.
I don't think so.
But because he knew exactly where to shoot him. I don't think that was an accident.
No, I don't think it would be, because that would have increased his bounty like more. He would have a bigger target on him. If he killed somebody from the guild.
That's why I mean, like, that's why I think he knew exactly where to shoot him.
Granted, he's betrayed the guild, so you can get worse than that.
Right.
But maybe he didn't win.
Right.
But Apollo Creed, I mean, he's kind of like he's like like a high up.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to kill him, but he knew exactly where to shoot him to like
That's possible.
knock his ass out.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
That rifle that he has, like I don't know if you noticed it, but when he shoots at the one Bosk, which I'm just calling him those because
The Transdotion.
Transdotion is
Yeah. Nobody knows what that
mouthful.
means. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. But when he goes to shoot that one and he disintegrates him,
Yes.
you hear the gun whine.
Yeah.
Like he's like he's cranking it to 10, and he's it's just like, and then he's poof.
Well, that's the thing.
So like that gun is like, he was using it as a cattle prod
Right.
on that creature.
Which that's all I thought it was. Like he didn't show what it could do until, well, the second episode is when he started like just vaporizing Jawas, which I was like, holy shit.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was my expression.
That's exactly what I said.
He's just picking them off.
He's just blowing up Jawas. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. But yeah, we didn't know like what that rifle was capable of, because I mean, it's not a very imposing looking weapon.
No,
it just, like you said, it looks like a giant fork or a giant cattle prod. I'm like, oh, what's so great about that? It can blow bitches up is what it can do. And then in the 4th episode, when Cara Dune's like, give me the pulse rifle, and she grabs that and she's like, I'm gonna start shooting at this walker.
Right in the eye.
That was, oh man,
walker.
That was some cool stuff, man. I'm just I don't even I don't know what to say.
It's all good.
It's all like, amazing.
This definitely justifies like a purchase of Disney Plus easily.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
And granted, Disney did everything in their ability to make sure that you could have like a million ways to get Disney Plus on the cheap or free or whatever. Because they want to hook everybody for sure. And as long as they keep doing stuff like this, I'm good.
Sure.
Do this for everything.
They're gonna roll out the Star Wars Clone Wars, like the final
the next
season.
season of yeah.
So that'll be next. Like they're spacing it out so that by the end of December you have Mandalorian, and then they're gonna roll Clone Wars out.
See, that's gonna be weird because I feel as if like people missed that bus. And so I don't know if like it will hold the same interest. Plus, it's animated.
I definitely missed that bus. I tried watching it and then I just got distracted and I never went back to it.
It's something you could throw on in the background, I think.
I think if you watch the final season, you get a lot of content for what's going on. Like Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, Yoda goes deeper into the Force, the answers. The clones.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff during like the last season or two.
They malfunction with the Order 66, and that's their clue, which then lends to Rebels, where some of the clones actually learned of the chip and took it out before they went evil. So then they were like, "Hey,
I want to see more of that in the live action too, or like clones that like resisted basically or got saved.
Guys, I want to be honest with you. I only got Disney Plus just for High School Musical.
Oh, well,
that's
fine.
That's fair. That's fair. All right.
No judgment.
All right. No.
That's the show, everybody.
Man.
Well, I was gonna wrap this episode up with a quick discussion since it is December now and we're heading ever so dangerously and ever so quickly into the Christmas season. I want to talk about I kind of brought this up on some of our social media, but awesome Christmas gifts.
Best ever?
When you were growing up. So, and I was thinking about it because I don't know why, but like, and to tie it back into Star Wars, I had a couple of great Christmas gifts that I got growing up. I think the first thing I ever got was like the Millennium Falcon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't get much more classic than that.
Yeah.
And then about a year or two later, I got an AT-AT.
Oh yeah. That
thing was a beast.
So great.
But I mean, the original Star Wars stuff, that was, that's, I grew up on that,
it's weird. This is so weird, but like I have those at home, but like we were at D&E Collectibles over the weekend and they had a complete AT-AT and I still was like super excited even though I had one at home. I was like, look at this thing. It's got the chin guns. It's amazing. It's complete and no rust. Like I was just like, how much is this? And then I'm like, wait, what am I doing? I don't want to buy this. I do want to buy this, but I'm not going. I was like, I gotta stop.
So did you? I mean, obviously you've got a lot of stuff now, but like when you were growing up, like
the first one that always comes to mind is the first Star Wars Christmas. I believe I was probably 5, because that was the year. 5 years old. My parents gave me the original Star Wars case, with the 24 slots.
Oh yeah,
for figures. Open it up. I opened the case, and every single figure was individually wrapped inside it too. Like they bought.
Wow.
I don't think they bought 24, but they bought like a good chunk of them. So I got to unwrap every single figure as well. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't care about cards.
Oh, sure.
So they peeled them off the cards and wrapped them and put them in the spots.
Yeah.
That was the best. I mean, that was definitely probably the best ever.
That's pretty
stuck
cool
in my head. So I'm sure there's more along the way, but that was the best one.
Well, what about you, Link? We'll go.
So I posted on the Facebook, but it's weird having your birthday in October because everything just bleeds together. And I'm like, did I get that for Christmas? Did I get it for my birthday? Yeah. Did they just put them together?
Oh, I hear you. I'm in November. So.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But I want to say I got the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Oh.
When I was for a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
And that thing was awesome.
Yeah.
I still have that thing. It's a little beat up, but I still have it. I wish I could go back in time and be like, hey, those plastic doors are just on hinges. Do not snap them off.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to regret that later.
Yeah. It's like, don't do it.
But yeah, I think I got those and like all the Ghostbusters and like Stay Puft and like
nice.
Slimer and a few other just a whole big set of stuff.
Yeah.
For Ghostbusters, which is funny because like I don't recall if I saw the movie first or if it was just the cartoon that I knew like when they bought it for me. Because even thinking back, I'm like I remember a lot about the second Ghostbusters film, but I think I was only one. Was it 85 when Ghostbusters came out?
Oh, man.
It might have even been earlier.
Yeah, it might have been 84.
Okay, well then I was possibly not alive when Ghostbusters came out then.
As a matter of fact, The Toys That Made Us, Season 3, Episode 1 is about Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't watched yet. I just saw it last night. I was like, I need to watch that. I could tell you if I had watched it. But I watched Dragon Prince instead.
Oh, well, that's okay.
That's fair.
But yeah, so I don't have like the fondest memory of the original Ghostbusters, but I remember I was obsessed with Ghostbusters.
Oh wait,
it was
I'm
84 was the original Ghostbusters.
84.
I'm a Ninja Turtle.
Okay,
Sorry.
so yeah, like I definitely didn't see it when it came out. I might have actually only seen the second one when I was growing up, and then the cartoon. Because the first one was more like a hard R movie, right? Like it was.
No, I think it was.
Was it still PG-13?
Yeah, it was PG.
PG.
They didn't really
but it was
have
still
PG
like horror though. But
they didn't have the 13 rating. I think.
Yeah, it was. It was fairly tame for the. I mean, even for the time, I feel like it was fairly
Except
tame.
for the weird scene with the ghost and Ray.
Yeah, which for the longest time I didn't understand what that was going on there. I thought she was just like making him very happy.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how.
Is he? Yeah.
What?
It's like, why is this in here? This is weird.
So eventually, like as I got a little older, so I eventually transitioned from Star Wars to G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And the first big vehicle I ever got for Christmas was the Mobat, the tank, the first tank, the one that came with Steeler.
Yeah.
And that was the one that was motorized. That you controlled it by the turret. You would just click the turret forward, and it would go, and then it would click it back, and it would go backwards. That was really the only directions it would go. But it was awesome. That was it had like the great like rubber treads, and it was just really cool. I remember like I said, that was the first of many G.I. Joe like vehicles and play sets and stuff. But that one holds a special place in my heart.
Favorite G.I. Joe for me was the Cobra Commander's jumper. It was like it had 3 legs.
Oh, is it kind of like a ball? Like a round
he's in
type
a little
thing?
pod. He's in a pod and 3 legs and he would
I know what you're talking about.
Leap across and then that was like the Cobra Commander that had like a space suit on.
Yeah, he had like that was when he was
armored
one. He had the armor.
Yeah. Like those were I don't know why, that was just like, wow, it's so futuristic,
Mm-hmm.
But I had a few of the other ones too. Like I still think I have it, but I can't find it in my house anywhere. Is the Dreadnought's swamp copter? Like this thing would go through the swamp, but then like the blades would flip out and
they
could fly away. Yeah, like that one. I'm like, I don't know what. I feel like I've checked every box in my house, and I'm like, I know it's still here, but it's probably gone. Like, Transformers was more of my thing at that time.
Okay.
For Christmas, I don't remember what. I remember the one year because my mom made a big deal out of it. Was that I wanted. Oh shoot, what's his name? Basically, he was the Autobot City Metroplex.
Okay.
The Autobot City, and I was like, Mom, I want the city. She's like, well, does it have a bank? And I'm like, no, it's an Autobot. She's like, well, how can you call it a city if it doesn't have certain things? And like she just made it a thing, and she just would laugh the whole time, and I was like serious. I'm like, no, Mom, it pretends to be a city.
Well, does it have a deli?
Yeah, it pretends to be a city. It's not a. It is Autobot City, but it's also, it's hiding. That's how it, that's how it fits.
Mama
in.
Headland was just messing with you.
Yeah, she was messing with me the whole time. So
that's funny. Doesn't have a bank.
Yeah.
I think
that was a Christmas one.
I know one of the, and then as I got a little older, like when I was transitioning a little out of toys, but and then into comics. And I didn't even know at the time that these existed, that you could get these. But my aunt, one year gave me a gift of, I guess you could order a box of, like a sample box of comics from Marvel Comics.
Oh, what?
And you would get like one. So I got like one Power Pack, one X Factor, one Doctor Strange, one Incredible Hulk, one X-Men, like.
That's awesome.
Like literally one of everything that they were selling at that time. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever because, this was probably mid-'80s, and I hadn't really discovered comic book stores yet. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really know. I mean, I only knew like the spinner racks at the drugstore and Giant Eagle. So there was a lot of stuff that you couldn't get on a spinner rack and there was just so much stuff in here. I was like, there had to be 40 comics easy in this box.
Wow.
And it was like, that was the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
Now that you say that, Micronauts issue 2 was the first comic book I ever got, and I got it in my stocking for Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I read it like 3 times that night because my brother and sister and we would get up at like 3 a.m. and go into our stockings, and then we'd have to wait until 7 a.m. before we could wake our parents up. So we would just be up the rest of the night. So I just kept reading this comic book over and over and over.
Wow.
And the thing I remember is the Micronauts setting the kids' backyard on fire, which was awesome. So. But, man,
you're looking out your back window. I'm like, I better check for Micronauts.
Yeah, that poor kid. But yeah, that was a Christmas one. That was set me on the path of comic books. Then so
yeah, that was I think in that box that was the year that they did those portraits, like the covers, and then like the characters around, like in the frame. Yeah, I got a couple of those in that box.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
So those were some of my favorites.
Yeah.
That convention, that cover treatment is still, I still love it. Like if I'm digging through dollar boxes or discount boxes, if I come across some of those, I'll buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because
those are cool.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
I really like those. That's basically when I started.
Yeah, it gets
collecting.
you really into it. Yeah.
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 Anyone else got any fond memories? Link?
I mean, once again, I'm still trying to think. I'm like, I think I got Skeletor's Castle and a bunch of He-Man toys in a big bulk like that, like the big purple one that like cracks open.
What was it called? Was it Snake Mountain?
I don't remember what it was called.
Is that the one that had like the slime? Like you drop the slime?
Yeah, the slime could go through it, which I'm pretty sure my mom threw that away. She's like, you're not playing with this slime.
Oh yeah, that's probably the worst thing ever.
Or she hid it and never gave it to me.
I'm sure that looked cool and was fun to play with, but But if you think about it now, if you poured slime on it, like an action figure,
yeah, it's impossible to clean.
It's getting in all the crevices.
Yep.
All the nooks and crannies. You're not. That guy is never coming clean again.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's ruined.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had like the green snake thing that like looped up the side and like a jail cell or something.
Like a
you could put He-Man
microphone?
in. What?
Did it have like a microphone?
Yes. Yeah. It had a microphone you
yeah.
could speak into, and it came out like
your voice changed. Okay.
Well, it came out through the mountain. It was like that, like those. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those wireless or.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I think it was wired. Actually, I think it
probably was wired at the time.
Into the thing.
Yeah.
And you would speak into it, and it would change your voice and whatever. You could sound like Skeletor, I guess, if you wanted to go like or like whatever. Yeah.
He-Man.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
But yeah, no, that was definitely one of the cooler things. But I like how like the age demographic. I'm like Ghostbusters, He-Man. You're like G.I. Joe, Transform.
Yeah, Micronauts.
Yeah, Micronauts.
Like,
yeah,
Slinkies and sticks on a string.
Yeah. Well, the one guy commented, and he was basically all video games, right? Like the one guy that commented.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I wanted to pull that up.
And
we did.
I was like, how young is this guy?
We did get a couple of.
I mean, I got a Nintendo, but I don't think it was for my birthday. I think Nintendo like came out, and my dad was super pumped, and bought a Nintendo for himself that I was allowed to use.
Yeah, for us,
that he claimed was for me, but yeah,
for us, Atari 2600.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
that was our game system.
I think I did get a Sega at one point.
Oh,
but I didn't have a lot of games for it because, I think that I just got it like at the wrong time. Basically, it's like when it was almost like there was a short window of opportunity for Sega to be cool.
Oh yeah,
and then it wasn't. Or the original Sega.
Yeah.
Not Sega Genesis.
Oh,
right.
There was a Sega before.
Right.
There was a Sega before Sega Genesis. And that's the one I had.
Oh.
Now we Eric McKelvey responded. He said first it was Atari, then Nintendo. He says Nintendo was off the chart. We couldn't believe the graphics and games.
Yeah.
Then it was Sega for a long time until Sony came out.
Okay. The video game.
I was
the evolution.
Yeah. See, I missed the video game train. Like I never.
Yeah, Atari was it for us. I mean, we didn't really follow the systems after that.
I did have a PlayStation 1, but I think I even bought it used, and I had like maybe I could probably count on one hand the number of games I had, and the only game I ever beat or played to completion on PlayStation was Medal of Honor.
Okay.
And I stayed up till. This is when I was working at the University of Pittsburgh, and and which Link can attest to, you get like a huge amount of time off during the holidays.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was the way the holidays fell this one year with the weekends and everything. We basically had like 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
And I spent almost every day playing Medal of Honor until one time I stayed up till like 6 a.m. until I beat it.
That's
nice.
You're describing my holidays from Pitt, basically. I'm just like, video game time. What am I gonna do Christmas stuff in the day and then stay up forever playing video games? Yeah.
And then I feel like once I beat that, I was like,
what else is there? I'm done.
Yeah,
that's it. I've yeah, I can't go any further in life.
Spider-Man 2, that was my game. That was the one to beat
on the PlayStation
2, I think.
Yeah, that was the one where you went around the city and it was like a big deal. Yeah,
Bruce Campbell was the narrator.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What was so great is like when I beat it, like I beat every mission. That he even came on and was like, "Well, you're pretty much done.
Yeah, I'm
gonna go over here and sit.
Yeah,
like he basically signed off.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And they're like, he's like, you can keep swinging around if you want, fight some crime. But I'm out. I was like, what the? And then I'm like, well, I guess I gotta quit playing. But it was like this one winter, I was just like, oh, it's snowing. I'm gonna stay in. I'm gonna stay up all night and play it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a great game.
Those were the days.
I never got consoles for Christmas because I think ended up buying them all, I think, just myself.
Yeah.
Like I got my Genesis from like a coloring contest at Toys R Us.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Like, oh, all right.
That's awesome.
They're like, here's a couple $100 of coupons, like Jeffrey bucks or whatever. I was like, I'm buying the video game machine because my parents won't buy it for me because it's too expensive.
I won a. Oh wait, how did I do? Oh no, yeah, I won a Nintendo GameCube from a Dr. Pepper label.
Nice.
Like I actually.
Wow.
Drank, yeah. Like what are the odds? But I drink. Not anymore. But I drank so much Dr. Pepper that I actually found a winning label.
Nice.
And they sent, and I got a GameCube out of it. So, I had that system.
Yeah.
And I played Luigi's Mansion until and defeated it.
Oh,
and then I also played Wind Waker.
Okay, yeah.
And defeated that as well. So if I find a game I really like, I will go to the
go
end.
through the whole thing.
Yeah. There's not many, but it's also like books too. I'm the same way. If it's a good book, I'll
just burn through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Timothy Zahn books. That was another good Christmas gift.
Oh,
the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah.
Every year there was a new book, so I'm like Christmas, and by the New Year's Day, I was done reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I have to knock these out.
I think 1 year my parents got me a big pile of Goosebumps books.
Oh yeah.
Because that was my thing. I found I discovered them at the library, and then at some point I was just like, I need more.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the library anymore. Somebody has these checked out. Yeah. They're like, here you go. Here's 6 or 8 books. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of books, so just to give you a little preview for one of our next episodes, we did get a message on Instagram from a follower. Let me pull it up here. Sorry. Stephen Hayner asked us for our top 5 books of 2019. We weren't going to try and tackle that tonight just because
we only just found out about it.
Yeah, we weren't really prepared for it. But that's
we need more time.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a great question, and we've never really done like a top 5 list or a top whatever list.
I think we just did maybe like a favorite book of the year.
Yeah, but we've never done like we got to do like an end of the year wrap up. So I think
end of the decade we do one for each now.
Yeah, there you go. One for one for each year in the decade. Wow. We'll be here for 3 hours. But no, for one of our next episodes, you can look for that. We'll be talking about our top 5 books for 2019.
Yeah.
So we will do our homework. We'll do some preparation for that.
It's a bummer we can't get like a big group pod for the final episode of the year.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is tough.
So
we'll
try to make the best of it.
Have write-ins.
We'll do what we can. Yeah, maybe our other co-hosts can they can
in or something.
Yeah, or they can submit their
list.
Their list, and we can read them.
That's true.
Read them on on the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do that. So anybody have anything else to add for this episode before we wrap it up?
No.
Well, I guess something else I'll be talking about on one of the next shows is I'm going to the Sangawa project.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is the 18 plus TakojoCon, basically. It's the anime convention for older kids. So that'll be interesting. There'll be sake tasting, and I don't know if I'm privy to that with a press pass, but if I am, I will definitely be drunk.
That's awesome.
You gotta try it.
But it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And so I'll be talking about that next time on the show.
Excellent.
All right. Okay, well that'll probably just wrap it up for this episode of Comic Book Pit. This has been episode 334 of the Comic Book Pit. I'm Dan, and with me in the amazing Sorgatron Media studio, we got Scott.
See you, people.
And Link.
See you, everybody.
And thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time.